Here's all of the supplies that I'm going to be using to create this card today. So let's start out with the paper. I have a piece of powder pink here. It's going to be my card base. This is cut to 8.5 by 5.5, and I've just scored it and folded it at 4 1/4. Then of course this gorgeous piece of Springtime Foils Specialty Designer Series paper. This is cut to 4 by 5 1/4. Basic black 2.5 by 3, and Myths and Magic glimmer paper 2.5 by 3. Got some rhinestones here, a couple of ovals for my layering ovals framelits dies, a few of my Stampin Blends markers, pink pirouette light and dark, light rich raspberry, light daffodil delight, and the light and dark of my old olive, some snail, Versamark and Embossing Buddy white embossing powder, and some of this gorgeous powder pink shimmer ribbon. And the stamp set I'm using today is so very cute. A Mother's Flare, perfect for Mother's Day. I love all of these images on here. I think they're so cute, but I'm just going to be using the Life is Beautiful because of You sentiment today. So let me get all this cleaned up and we'll get going. What I'm going to do first is just go ahead and get my flowers colored in. Now when I cut my paper for a project such as these boxes that I made, as you can see I cut it in a way so that I would have at least a couple of whole flowers and a couple of leaves that I could color. So that's what I did when I cut it out for the front of the card. So I'm going to be coloring in this flower and this one. I haven't fully decided if I'm going to do that one or not, and then I'll do a couple of the leaves. So let me start out with my lightest, which is my light pink pirouette, and I'm going to color in the background of this flower here, and you will hardly be able to see this color as I'm putting it into place, especially on camera. Now I can see it because it's live and in person, but you may not be able to see it as well as I do. Then I'm going to switch over to my next color, which is the dark pink pirouette, and anywhere that I think that there's going to be darker areas, shaded areas, that kind of thing, I'm going to put some of this color in that space. Then I'll come over to my next color, which is the light rich raspberry, and I'll add a little more to those areas which I feel would naturally have darker shading in them. Okay, then I start moving backwards. So I come to my medium color, and I just kind of blend those back together a little bit, and I start dragging some of that darker color, which was the rich raspberry, back up into the mid-tone, which is my dark pink pirouette. Here we go. Then I end up with my lightest, which was the light pink pirouette. And I just, oops, wrong end. I like using the brush end better. Okay, so then I'll just smush that around and blend those colors together and try to smooth those rough edges out a little bit. And I'll have to say, when you're coloring with these, at first, while all the inks are still wet and you're moving them around, you may think to yourself, I'm not really liking this. But once everything is dry, you're going to love it, because that's kind of the way that I looked at it when I was working on them. Wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it until I was done, and then I loved it, because it definitely does look like watercolor. Okay, so there's that one. I'm going to go ahead and do the leaves on here and decide what other flowers I'm going to do. I'm going to put on some music for you, speed up the video, and just let you watch. I think that this is all that I'm going to color on this card. Now, if you wanted to, you could color in everything, but I'm just going to go this far for now and leave the other flowers and the other leaves just plain. So what I'm going to do next is put my sentiment on there. I have taken my basic black and I prepped my paper with my embossing buddy. Then I stamped my sentiment with my Versamark, and then I used my embossing powder to put over that and heat set it with my heat tool. Now I'm going to cut out these two pieces with my layering ovals. So I'm going to cut out my sentiment with the plain oval, and I'm going to cut out in the same size oval the scalloped one for the glimmer paper. Alrighty, then I'm going to take my pink pirouette ribbon and I'm going to cut a length a little bit longer than the front of my card here, and I'm going to apply some of my snail on both sides of the back here. Attach my pink pirouette in it, wrap that around. Stick it down to the other side. Then before I do any more of the ribbon, I'm going to go ahead and put this in place. I think I will use my multi-purpose liquid glue to attach my sentiment to my glimmer paper, because the snail I don't feel will hold that in place very well. It's not sticky enough. You could also use some mini glue dots or something like that to do this also. Here we go. So that's stuck in place. Now I will go ahead and use my snail to attach it to my card. That's fine. I'm going to put this right here. Now I'll take another little snippet of my ribbon. I'm just going to tie this in a single knot right here. Then I can take these ends. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. You could just cut it at an angle if you'd like, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my ribbon in half. Let me show you from this view here. So I'm going to fold it in half like that. Then I'm going to cut at an angle like this and make a little bannered end. I will show you that again on another piece that's not attached to the card, so it might make more sense. Then I'll just go ahead and use my snail. Attach this to my card base. And we are done. There is the second of the Mother's Day cards. Now let me show you what I was talking about with this ribbon, because I don't know how clearly it made sense to you when I was doing it before. So what I did basically was I took my ribbon and I folded it in half this way, and then take my scissors and come in at an angle and just trim so that when you open it up you have this little banner edge. Now you can do it that way, or like I was saying, you could just cut it at an angle like this and leave it like that. Either way is going to be pretty, but I wanted to have that little banner end. So thank you so much for spending time with me today and allowing me to share this second of the Mother's Day card series with you. I hope that you enjoyed this watercolor technique on this designer series paper. If you need any of the supplies that I've used today, be sure to visit my store by going to wallastamping.com/order SU. I'll have this project posted on my blog at wallastamping.com, and you can go over there and get a list of the supplies that I've used, as well as the instructions on how you can make this card yourself. While you're over there, make sure that you sign up for my newsletter, because you will get exclusive tutorials and you'll find out news and information and get promotions before anybody else does. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know. Thank you again for being here today, and I'll talk to you soon.